Dr. Chong, did you know that Australia has always been Malaysia's #1 choice for higher education? Hi, I'm Pat, the President of the Malaysian Australian Alumni Council.
And I'm Chong, the Vice President, Education and Welfare of the Malaysian Australian Alumni Council. And yes, since 1950s, Australia has always been a popular choice for higher education among Malaysians.
1950s to the 1970s have always seen many Malaysians who went to Australia under the Colombo Plan Scholarship Program.
Just like the three generations of the family, Madam Cheow, her daughters Wong Lye Ling and grandson Geoffrey Kok.
Madam Cheow was a Colombo Plan scholar who went to the University of Queensland, while Lye Ling and her son Geoffrey Kok went to Monash University in Melbourne.
Great, let's now see how an Australian education has impacted the life of the family for 3 generations.
My mum, Cheow, she went to Queensland, Australia to study a diploma in physiotherapy. She went in the late 50s and early 60s, whereas in my generation, myself, Lye Ling, I went to Monash University. My sister also went to Australia to study in La Trobe, also in Melbourne. So that's the second generation. Then the third generation, my son and daughter, they're both in Melbourne. Geoffrey, my eldest, he's graduated recently also from Monash University.
My name is Geoffrey Kok. I'm originally from Malaysia, but I've been in Australia since 2010. I used to study at Monash University, studying a Bachelor of Information Technology and Systems. But I graduated in 2012 and now I'm currently working for the National Australia Bank as a collections advisor.
So, a family of Australian graduates.
When I went there, initially I was a bit apprehensive because the country is very new to me. I was very well received, especially by Australian families. So I was made to feel very at home after that. And after that, life seems to be okay for me. I didn't feel as homesick. It was like I have a second home there. There were not many Malaysian students at the time when I was there. We were close because, away from home, when you meet a Malaysian, you're very happy, oh, somebody from home, We have our little gatherings, our social life during the weekends. And then we formed a Malayan Students Association. So we organize, events like, putting up concerts to show our folk dances, the fan dance, candle dance and all that. So they were very fascinated. That's the way how we involve ourselves with the Australian community.
I studied in Monash and I think when I first got there, it was so exciting. The university grounds was sprawling. I was in the Clayton campus. I felt very safe and secure studying there. Met some very nice people there. It's like everybody's smiling or happy or very relaxed. I think they were less frantic about life. I mean, life was more relaxed. They learned how to enjoy life. There was no question about where our kids were going to study.
Yeah, for the future generation, if they ever ask me, the choice, definitely Australia.
For Geoffrey, after he finished his Form 5 SPM, we enrolled him into Taylor's College. And I think the choice was really Australia because we had family there. And also because my husband and I, we studied there. So there's an affinity, a strong bond with Australia.
They were kind of glad that I got to uni in the first place, and Monash University offered the alumnus sort of discount. So yeah, and I also had the university degree that I wanted to study here in Melbourne. So it was a win-win for both of us.
Study hard, make sure you don't get a bonus year. My advice to Geoffrey was that.
When she said don't get a bonus year, she meant don't fail and do an extra year because it's hard on them because they were paying for my semester tuition fees. So yeah, they gave me a pretty good incentive to not fail, seeing as how if I failed I have to pay for the whole semester.
Australia is the natural choice.
It comes as no surprise to me because in my inner feeling, somehow or other, I think that's the way, that's the place, Australia, they're going to go.
It's a good environment to send your child over to study, knowing that they will be safe there and the standards are maintained there.
It's a very high standard of education. The approach is good. One of the best places to go is Australia.
One of the best part of my Australian education was that it opened my mind. It's a part of my life that I treasure very much because it changed the way I think about life and approach to it.
It actually opens the whole horizon, a whole new horizon for me. It itself is such a fascinating thing for me, and I treasure it for the rest of my life, that experience.